Welcome to Acton in Focus. I'm Vivian Kobusingye Birchall, your host, and with me is Miss Nikita Mullangi, one of the co-founders of GenXL. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Vivian.
So, first of all, it's exciting always to see young people who are championing, different causes, especially bridging the disparity in education, not only locally but globally. So I'm excited to get to have a conversation with you about that. But to kick us off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you went to school, and what you currently do?
Sure. So, hi, I'm Nikita. I'm a sophomore at Acton Boxborough, and I am the founder and executive director of GenXL. And so we've been running it for about 2 years, and we started during the pandemic in 2021. And as we all remember, it was this huge break from school that was quite sudden, but quite an opportunity for many of us. And I think that at GenXL, me and the founders kind of saw this disparity gap when we saw how fast this drift between people who had money and status in society, and that gap that was forged between us and other people who were not so fortunate, and how this loss of resources kind of created this gap. And so we wanted to do what we could to solve this. And I think that during the pandemic, a lot of people were online, which I thought was a brilliant opportunity to find people that were also as passionate, and then find a way that we can reach out to students. So our approach was twofold: to first kind of inspire the to plan futures. And so I think that a lot of people who come from underprivileged or underrepresented backgrounds don't necessarily have exposure to careers. And this is important because to kind of brainstorm somebody's goals, you need to know exactly what options you have available to yourself. And so we've started a speaker series where we kind of interview people that have achieved these really brilliant things in STEM, and they're able to inspire these people and these young kids by telling them what possibilities they have available to them. And then we kind of take that job and we create an even more hands-on approach. And so we teach STEM through classes on Zoom, or at least we used to, and now we're trying to get more in person. But throughout the pandemic, when we were teaching these STEM classes, we wanted it not to be more of a presentation style or creating a PowerPoint presentation, but rather to have kids understand the power of these topics. So, for example, in our web development classes, we'd have them actually build a website, or in our Python, to create something that you can actually interact with. And this is one of the really important things about GenXL, to kind of inspire futures and not just education.
Right. A few questions that come from that. One, why STEM?
So we believe that STEM is a way to kind of visualize your potential from your own house. And so to create outreach in humanitarian projects, for example, is obviously really challenging task. And so we thought that STEM was something that people could use to visualize their potential from their own houses. So with science, for example, it's a very tangible thing, and people can see their knowledge kind of turn into something right on their desktop. Think about how many times you interact with science every day, and your kitchen, or these small experiments, or even your body itself. It's all just a scientific reaction. And so we thought it was much more relatable for students to start with.
That is so awesome. And then the other question that I had was, how did this process of bringing many youth together to do this start, and how did you build it into an organization that you have today?
So as all Gen Z does, we look to social media first. And I think that it's actually a brilliant way to find other people who have similar ideas to you. And so at first we were just hey, is anyone else concerned with what's going on in terms of the education gap? And we got a lot more responses than we anticipated or expected. I mean, so many other students were interested but also concerned and were willing to help. And so we started our first summer course in the summer of 2021. So that was 8th grade summer for us, with about, I would say 50 to 100 instructors that were interested, just from social media outreach. And so these were people that came from all around the country, and we'd set up Zoom classes with them. And then from there, we used the students' connections, and we kind of incentivized their outreach. So we were bring as many people as you think would be interested to GenXL. And now we've created a community of around, I'd say 1,200 instructors.
That's
right now.
impressive. And maybe just to take a bit of a break and try to acknowledge the co-founders. Can you tell us the names of the co-founders of this organization?
So the co-founders are me, Smera Dhananjaya, and Ayana Bahadur.
Well, I know they couldn't make it today, but we want to acknowledge them and say thank you for being a champion in bridging this disparity.
Definitely.
So back to the programs that you run. I know that you started with trying to teach here locally, right?
Yes, we did.
And then you've rolled it out globally. Can you tell us what the journey has been and how many students overall you have across the world?
Yes. So our current outreach is 35,000 students that we've impacted so far, and this consists of students from Title I schools, from refugee camps, from around the world in developing countries. And so this has been a really amazing experience because you see so many students living these lives that you've never even been able to compare your own to. And I think that that's a really important experience. And I think that we've been able to give ourselves this in Acton, but also all of our volunteers have had opportunities to make real changes. And I think that's what's really fascinating about GenXL.
And how do you connect with those students, especially though you mentioned refugee camps and other parts of the world?
A really great way is through partnerships. So even though we're at, here in Acton, there's a lot of other people that are working on ground in these developing countries or in refugee camps. And so you can partner with those people who might not have the resources to teach STEM programs, but have the resources to provide basic human needs to these people. And then you can kind of push it further by partnering with these groups. And so these groups are doing amazing work. And thank you so much to all these people that are involved in programs like this. But that's a great way to reach those communities.
And do you have somebody on the team that specifically looks out for those potential partnerships?
Yeah, so I think the co-founders do a really, we do a lot of outreach in those people, but we also have an outreach director. We have our vice president, Vidi Patel, who does a lot of outreach like this as well. But it's a really group effort. I mean, people from chapters in Virginia will know other people locally. And that's also really important, to create a community where you're not just encouraging oh, volunteer with me and I'll give you volunteer hours. It's more of a passion and a core mission that we've grown at GenXL that makes everyone so passionate and everyone doing outreach at their own levels.
I love it. Build a community, and certainly you're doing that, and it's so humbling to just hear you talk so passionately about the work that you are doing. So in terms of your vision for the future, what do you want to see? First of all, how many countries are you working in?
So currently we've reached about 40 countries.
40 countries.
Yes.
I won't task you to list all of them, but that's impressive. And where can people find this information?
So you can find all about us at genxl.org, which is our website, and we also have social media pages, but they're all linked through our website.
All right. So what's your vision for the future, the next 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah. So far, our programs have been online, fueled by the pandemic, but now we want to get more hands-on. And so we've been doing some in-person outreach. We'll be doing some programs in Boston and the greater area in person, doing these free workshops that are funded by our sponsors. But we're hoping to spread even further than that. So to do hopefully mission trips. We're also getting people in other countries to find more programs to partner with, because when you have a group of partners in a certain area, it makes it a lot easier for you to send people over there to work with a lot of people there. So that's our goal, to get more in-person workshops and other things going.
I'll selfishly ask, of the 40 countries, is Uganda part of them?
We have Ghana.
You have Ghana.
But
not Uganda. I'm from Uganda, so we need to fix that.
Yes, we will.
Create partnerships with Uganda. But no, this is amazing. And you mentioned sponsors. Who do you reach out to for sponsorships?
So a lot of the time it's outreach directors or public communications at larger companies. For example, Google, Apple, and Microsoft are a couple of companies that we've partnered with to do some events. We get both physical sponsorships from them in terms of money, and then we also get other services that they provide. So for example, Google has given us free Google Workspace, which allows us to get free domains and also emails that are connected to these domain addresses just to make us seem more professional.
Yeah.
So it's just like these free services that companies can provide, but it's always worth it to reach out to the public relations people because they will do a lot for companies.
Right. And then in terms of, again, the next steps, what do you see yourselves as your students? Obviously, you're going to graduate high school at some point and then have to go to college. Have you created a kind of pathway to continue doing this work as you transition out of high school?
Yes, so we have a board of directors. And so these are students that we might know personally, but also from our other chapters around the country who have just shown like immense passion towards our goal. And so we've kind of put them on our board of directors. And some of these students are younger than us. And so we hope to kind of pass it on to them, and we'll be like kind of these senior like supervisors, I guess, while they kind of push on our mission forward. And just like continue through us, and we'll keep assisting along the way.
Oh my goodness, this is exciting. It's so exciting to hear you give us this vision, this leadership qualities.
Thank you so much.
You are doing amazing work.
Thank you.
So is there anything that we haven't talked about that you'd like to tell our viewers?
I mean, thank you so much for everyone who has been supporting GenXL so far. And if you're interested in volunteering, please check out our website and fill out that form. And if you are not interested in volunteering but still want to support, please send over any donations or any words of support. All our volunteers love to receive anything. So thank you so much.
And no, thank you again, Nikita. It's been such a pleasure having you here, learning about the work that you're doing. And you can count on ActonTV to support you when you want.
Thank you so much.
When you have any updates you have for us, reach out and we'll be happy to host and spread the word.
Thank you so much.
And to our viewers, thank you for watching this episode. Please reach out to this GenXL. Support them in any way that we can, because it takes a community to build a community. So it takes a village to raise our children, and these are our children. So thank you for watching this section of Acton in Focus. Until next time.